going to record this so I can post it later. And then what we're going to do, like I said, this is all an introductory thing today. Lucky you, we're doing one-on-one apparently. No. So I'm going to do, let's pull this up, share my PowerPoint with you. And, oh, sorry. So it's Electric 111. Electrical, well, it's residential and commercial. They kind of go hand in hand. And it's somewhat explanatory. Like residential would be considered, all home type installations. And then when they say commercial, they typically mean like if you were to build a store, like we opened up a brand new CVS or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
you'll also be able to go into that as well. I mean, there's variances, of course, with, home versus like a storefront, but at the at the base of it, it's all pretty much the same stuff. So here we go. So what we'll be going over, like I said, we'll do an introduction and just show you why am I teaching this and what do I expect from this course, what we're going to cover, the books you're required to have. I'll show you my syllabus and we'll go over this class schedule. And we do have a tool list. Do you have all your tools or?
No, I do not.
Okay. Okay. Well, I bring in a bag of tools for everybody to kind of, they're my own tools, but you can kind of share. But you will need them. The tools are very good for this class as well as the meter. And again, I'll bring in a meter, and it's my own, but it's in the long run, everybody is required to
Yeah.
have a meter. And we will use it. I will show you how to use in fact, if anything out of this class, you will learn the proper uses of your voltmeter, the do's and don'ts and things like that. So this is about me. My name's Tom Brown. Let's see. So I grew up in Chicago and I was an electrician from high school on for quite some time. And I worked for Econ Electric Company, and I worked for another company called Daniels Electric Company in Chicago. And then one day I just decided that it was time for me to go to school. So I did that, and I went to school at DeVry in Chicago, and I got an electronics engineering degree. And I graduated about 94, and from that point I went out to California, and I got involved in the semiconductor industry. And in that, and it's chip manufacturing, where they make chips. Oops.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was involved with was machine manufacturer. So the two companies I worked for out there, I worked for KLA, Tencor, and then I worked for a Lam Research Corporation in California. We were building machines that they use to make chips with. So I wasn't like, the chip guy. I was an electronic guy, building and testing machines and stuff. There was a lot of interesting stuff in that, but so I did that for about 8 years, and then came back to Illinois and got involved in electrical work again. I was kind of taking it easy, taking my time, I guess, if you will. But so I've seen, oh God, I've seen electricity in a wide variety of forms. I've used electricity in a wide variety of forms. The electronics approach, the electrician approach, and then when I came back here, I started getting into the maintenance side of things, more PLC program, like we were talking about earlier with automation and such. So I got quite heavily involved in that. Now I am getting old, and you never see, and it's like with every trade, I'm not gonna say yay or nay. Maintenance is a little different, I've noticed, versus like the classic trades where you're, constructing houses and stuff like that. I always tell people, you look around, you never really see old construction workers, and there's a reason why. Because it's hard and it's hard in your body. But maintenance, you can actually stick with it. They do have different, you know, levels for you and such like that, even to the point like towards my end thing. I went around with like a small crew, a couple of guys, and I was more or less their mentor, showing everybody how to do everything and that type of thing. So I did that for a while. You know, all in central Illinois here, pretty much. Not always the Peoria area, but always out in, central Illinois. Stayed away from Chicago and whatnot. But so this is my fourth time teaching this class, and I have a lot of fun with it. Everybody seems to have a lot of fun. We do some interesting projects. I try to cover a lot of stuff, and it is kind of homework intensive. I don't do all the questions at the end of the chapters. I do quite a bit of homework, and in effect, I do have a homework assigned even today. But it's not due for a week, so it won't be due until next Monday. But it's on chapter one. Chapter one's an introductory. It's kind of like about safety and whatnot, that type of thing. Because I always remember, in electricity, you have to be very, very careful, because if you die by electricity, it will hurt the whole time you are dying. No. So it's a little tougher on this one. Largely, I usually like to go around when I do this, and then go around the class and just have everybody kind of introduce themselves. We won't necessarily do that, but I mean, hopefully you, like I say, you do find this class interesting. We don't always have just electricians in this class. The HVAC guys have to take this course as well, because they are required to do a certain amount of their own wiring when they're installing like furnaces and air conditioners and such. So, like I say, we do get an interesting influx of different people in this course. But anyway, so my expectations, okay, your expectations of me should be this, right? I should have the technical knowledge to teach you this stuff. I should have everything prepared for you for both classes and labs. Um, I assign the quizzes and tests. And then even to the point where we can even do these at home. They're set up. It, to my point of view, if it's open book, it's not gonna make that much of a difference for you. Basically, if you're able to find the information, then right on, I'll get the right answer, that type of thing. You know what I mean? Uh, but what I expect from you guys is read through the assignments, complete the homework assignments before the due time. And I get it, there's always stuff, life gets in the way. And if you have something come up, reach out to me. You could text me. I posted my, well, I'll show you in a little bit, but I posted my cell phone number, so you can text me, if you have to call me, email me, something, carrier pigeon, but I do expect, complete homeworks for full credit, right? It's not, I don't think this course is that difficult where you should be able to go through all this. I do expect, proper attendance, and we'll go over that in the syllabus, and of course, completing the labs. I assign kind of a heavy weight on lab assignments and homework assignments versus my quiz and test grades. And we'll go through that when we go through the syllabus. So our rules, okay, my number one is safety first. Take all the time in the world, assess, before you go into a situation, make sure that you thought it through, that you're not going to get hurt, And the way I have it set up, each lab station is locked out. I have the key, so you will be assembling your labs, of course, just like in real life. Don't ever, work on stuff live. Don't do hot work, okay? In fact, even people like me, right, have been around forever. Doing hot work, it's a cautionary approach, because all it takes is one time, and then you don't get any other chances because you're done. Electricity is not forgiving. But with that in mind, so like I said, we go through the labs, and you'll wire everything up, and then call me over, and I'll lock your box, and we energize, and we test it, right? And we'll make sure it actually works. And this is where your meter will come into play and things like that. And it's a smaller class because we only have so many like lab bays where we're at. Well, you'll see when we get into the room on Thursday. But everybody will get their own lab station type of thing, and you'll get to use that basically over the next 8 weeks. Okay. So in our rules, yeah, attendance is definite, you know, and again, it's only 8 weeks. Missing a few days are killer. I don't like cell phones being used. 'Cause just, you know, no, don't do it. And hopefully no computer use unless it's for class, you know, don't be Googling and looking at silly crap and stuff. You know, focus, focus. I'll try to make it interesting. So hopefully I don't bore you to death. But so here's what we go over. So we take it from the beginning approach. I assume nothing. You know, if you've had electric courses before, awesome. If you haven't, okay, it's not going to change anything. Not going to change our approach. So we start from the fundamentals, do the very beginnings, go over everything that, like I say, we'll be looking at electrical systems with blueprints. Because essentially, if you were an electrician, okay, let's say you're a journeyman electrician, and before the job even starts, you're going to do a job bid. And what you start from is the house blueprints. That's it. You don't have instructions, you don't have a manual, no guides. So essentially, you have to be able to read the prints, assess the amount of equipment and time that would require for you to do this job, right? And go from there. So we will teach you, or I will teach you how to do that. And we will go over, and everything we go over here will be by the NEC. Okay, that's the code. All right, National Electric Code, and we play by the book. I'm not going to teach you, you know, monkey style wiring or anything like that. We're going to learn the proper way, how to look up the information. If you have your Uglies book, you'll even notice on the Uglies book that it is also in accordance with the NEC, and it'll tell you the date, the year. About every 3 years, they come up with a new code because, you know, technology is changing all the time. And the way they look at it, or their approach, is from a fire prevention method. Because essentially the background, hello, but the background, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. There were 3 of us in the classroom.
All right. Wait, what?
There were 3 people in the classroom here. There's still 1 person with me.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna film. I am recording this too, so
Okay.
we will be able to post it up on the thing. It'll be in a YouTube type channel thing on Blackboard, but I'll go over that. But so we'll go over. We look at switches and outlets. What is an outlet? You know, and what is a switch? Switch boxes. How to substitute new plugs and receptacles for old ones. How to install the new wiring, you know, we do wiring out, and how to verify your work. We'll also we'll go over and installing basic electrical devices. You know, I have quite a few things that you will be going through. 3-ways, 4-way switches, you know, hooking up lights, fluorescent, doorbells, even motion sensors and that type of thing. And then we even go on further. At a certain point, you will be wiring up your own panel, you know, putting your own circuit breakers in there and providing your own wire. I have a few different things. There's like how much wire can you stuff in a box, and there is a lab for that. So you'll basically have to figure out how, you know, based on the box I give you, because they're all different sizes and such. But based on that box that I give you, you know, and part of that's your lab assignment, is you're going to tell me how many wires you can stuff in that box according to code. But so that's the type of thing we'll be doing. And essentially, there's 2 books that you are required to have. And one is the text. It should be like a red kind of soft covered book. Okay. And yeah, that's Mullins Electrical Wiring Residential. And like I say, we're not going to go through the entire book, but we will go through a good portion of it. And the good thing about this book, it's actually got really good pictorials and such in there for, you know, for demonstration purposes. So I would hang on to this book, because later on, if you need to look something up, you're able to look it up very readily. And it shows you how to do it. The code book does not. The code book is not there to teach you how to do electricity. The code book is there to tell you what to do or what not to do in certain situations. And the other book you're required, which I find basically this next book is your Holy Bible. Okay, for electrical needs, this thing I carried this. This was in my book bag. Mine was so beat up. I ended up keeping it in like one of those storage freezer bags, you know, real nice tough Ziploc, because the thing was getting so beat up, but I kept it in there in my tool bag because this thing is awesome to have on hand. It's the Uglies Electrical Reference Book, and it's a little pocket size style book, but it has so many references that you'll find so handy throughout your career. I used it for so many different situations. It can cover electronics, motor wiring, you know, basic home wiring. It's I can't even begin to tell you how important it is. But that if of the two books, I mean, right off the bat, I would prefer that you have the Uglies book. I even go through, I have like 3 different quizzes based on the Uglies book. So the only way you're going to find this information is in the Uglies book. And then we'll also be using the NEC, which I have the copies of. That's the code book.
Yeah, I got it.
Those things are like $95 a piece, roughly. And it doesn't matter if you buy a hard copy or digital, it's $95 either way. But
I think it's on the other prep.
usually for something like that, that would be something your workplace would have for you. And I mean, if you really wanted to go out and buy the code book, fine. But it's the bad thing about it, it's only really good for 3 years. So every 3 years, you're going to be plunking down $100 to buy this book. But we'll be going through that. I'll show you how to read it, you know, how it's broken out, what sections cover what. And now let me switch over and we're going to take a look at my syllabus. So that way there's nothing, you know.
Residential wiring.
Yeah.
Zoom. Is it?
Yeah, that's okay.
What? Oh, sorry.
Now we're going to share a different screen, no? All right. Everybody able to see that okay? So this is my Blackboard site. Okay, you see it's electronics Tech 111. The way I have it broken out, if I have any announcements, I'll post them there. And these generally will email you. So if you were to look for announcements, announcements at this point, I haven't put anything in there yet. And then course information. Now, in course information, I have 2 little deals on, proper connecting to terminals and how to measure with your digital multimeter.
Awesome.
And the syllabus. So the information I have here, it's like, who your instructor is, which is me. My office, which is up in 209. I'm in the adjunct. And generally I am not there. So you could try to call the office number, but I probably will not answer it. Below that is my cell phone number, and that you can reach me at. Like I said, if you need to text me or call me, please do. I have no problems with that. If you hit me up at 1 in the morning or something like that, I probably won't get back to you right away. And then my email. So in the syllabus, it's essentially covered, what we're going to be going through in this course, our general information, what is the course called? So it was residential and commercial wiring, how long we're going to be doing this. So each meeting time is 1 lecture hour and generally 2 lab hours. Not all days will the labs take you 2 hours, and sometimes you may not be finished in your lab within the 2 hours, but I have it spread out pretty good, so you'll be able to make a good use of your time. I have different labs where some of them are actually done in the lab module, but some can be done at your desk. And so, there's quite a bit of different things. Some are just worksheets, which we will have to go through, worksheets based on the building prints that you have. But in any case, So here's what we expect. By the end of this course, what will you be able to do? So I fully expect at the end of this course, you should be able to construct a basic electric circuit, right? With the proper wires type and the proper wire size and the proper fixtures that you need to use for that. How to diagnose and repair a fault in your electrical devices. How to install basic household wiring, and complying, of course, with the code. Because remember now, at the end of this course, you are not an electrician, okay? What you are ready for is to be an apprentice electrician, which is the very beginning, okay? And you can be an apprentice for quite some time, as typically what they require for you to go from apprentice to journeyman level is 10,000 hours of work. Anybody know how many years that is? It is 5. Ooh, there's my hand. So 5 years, all right, 2,080 hours of work in a year. So yeah, 10,000 hours is 5 years as an apprentice, and then you're are ready to be a journeyman. Anyway, but how to install your basic household wiring, right? So complying with the local codes. And when I say local codes, it's an interesting thing. Now, depending on where you're at, and whoever has jurisdiction will evaluate and dictate what part of the code that they actually support in their area. So it would be the code, but in some cases they may not be up to the full current. Maybe they're going with, okay, we would dare to up to the 2011. And it's like, okay, so up to 2011, I should have to go up to that book. So if I have the 2011 NEC and followed all that through with my wiring, I should be okay. Not to say that you could go past that, and of course, have the current version going through there and everything. Sometimes the inspector may or may not be able to recognize that, but that's something to be gotten around with. We'll be going through and what is a single pole, a 3-way, a 4-way, and double pole switches, and what does that mean? And how and you, through the course of this, will demonstrate to me the proper use of your voltage tester and your continuity tester to evaluate the circuits, what the proper conditions are to use that meter. Because your multimeter is capable, it's what? It's a separate, digital multimeter, right? So it has a voltmeter, it has an ohm meter, and an ammeter built in, if you get the one that the school recommends. Now, what else are we doing? Okay, we're going to also, you'll demonstrate to me the proper use of low voltage power to install things like door chimes and bells. And we'll go through and you'll see why we are using low voltage for that. And also the proper installation of lights and fixtures, outdoors, indoors. But these are all through the labs. And so as you complete the labs, this will be the demonstration side of things. And of course, number 1, right? Safety, 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 and more safety. You can never take too much time for safety. That's my opinion. Anyway, so, and also we go through, it states what textbooks are required for this course. So you are required to have that residential wiring book and your uglies book. And how I'm going to represent this as lecture. We'll have discussions on things and demonstrations through lab work, lab exercises and things like that. And how do I assess you? Well, both pre and post test, how do you do? and the way we go about it is pretty standard. And, I do a lot of homework in this class. I apologize ahead of time, but like I said, there's a lot of material to cover for this course. And basically every chapter is going to have a homework. I don't do the complete thing. It'll all be on the Blackboard site. So basically, you're ready to do your homework, open up Blackboard, open up that particular homework exercise, have your book, because all the answers will be in the book, but I do not do the complete thing. And then quizzes, I generally lump them together like chapters 1 and 2, 3 and 4, that type of thing. So we won't have a quiz every week or anything like that. And then the only exam we have in this course is your final exam. And then otherwise the labs. I try to assign, in fact, I assign more than one lab for every time we meet, because some cases Some labs are quick, you know, you get through like 1 or 2 of them in that time period, with 2 hours. So we will have lots of labs. It'll be a lot of fun. But everything I'm going to cover, you know, how to map the electrical system, what's the difference in wires and cables, you know, and how to recognize them, what's a conduit, you know, how to change a fixture, you know, what fluorescent are, you know, fluorescent lights. And those are changing too, basically these days as well, with LEDs and everything. But anyway, what's a switch and receptacle, what an outlet box is, how to wire switch controls, doubling up on new receptacles and switches, what surface wiring is, you know, low voltage door chimes, what waterproof fixtures are, outside wiring, and of course, everything and everything and everything. It always goes back to the code. And with all that being said, you know, and it's standard stuff as far as this goes. I typically don't, if you've gone past the date of your due date for homework, I usually don't allow makeup work. And again, like I say, you know, something crazy happens, I get it, you know, life happens, just let me know and we'll work something out, you know, that kind of thing. If you need one more day or something, you know, like that, or something crazy, you know, aliens came down and took your car or something, you know, it's like, oh, okay. But whatever it is, I get it. I'm not that strict. And then I show you through what chapters we will cover. And there's like the whole week layout. You can see in week 7 that we stop the homework assignments, and at that point, and then largely what it is like what I call the open forum. So both sessions, you'll be able to, if you have any labs you're late on or something like that, or you're just, you know, too much, this would be the time to catch up on those if you had like 1 or 2 labs that hadn't gotten turned in or something like that yet. And then in week 8, we'll have a review on what final material we'll have, and then we'll have the final. And then very bottom, as you can see here, this is my grading percentages. And like I say, I grade more heavy on the labs and the quizzes. I think that's your real test there. You know, are you retaining that knowledge? And that gives me the feedback of where we need to go. And but there's your breakout. You know, okay, 30% for labs, 20 for homework, 30 for quizzes, and 20% for your final. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my syllabus. And like I said, it's on Blackboard under the course information section here.
Yeah.
And I go through and I have a section for course content. Fix that a little. If you absolutely need to, and you haven't gotten your book yet, okay, I do have the electronic version available for you here. That way, if you wanted to go ahead and get started, the bookstore didn't have the book yet or something crazy, then we can use that. I also have all the building drawings on here as well. Even if it's the point where, you know, one day you needed the drawings and you forgot to bring them with you or something, you know, you still have it available here so you can reference it or that type of thing. It just makes everything easier. And oh, went too far. And I have a copy. It's a little older, but it is the Uglies book here. Oh, wait for it to load. I don't have the fastest speed at home here, but that's the Uglies book from the 2014 edition. So it doesn't look exactly like the one you'll get out of the bookstore at the moment, but essentially they're all pretty much laid out the same. Like I say, the only time they really change is if there's any major updates in the code. So about every 3 years they have to go through. But this book has quite a bit, you know, even from the very beginning, like the most important law of all, right? Ohm's law. It's right on the cover, you know, and what the differences are between series and parallel circuits and all of that. But yeah, if you go through this book is this, I can't even begin to tell you how awesome this book truly is. It's one of the greatest things ever. I used it, like I said, I've used this thing extensively at work because it's a great reference. You always have it on hand. So I didn't have to run back to the shop to go look things up. If I had usually my, you know, my Uglies book with me, I'd be able to look that up and generally find my answers, unless it was really specific, you know, just to that particular make and model or something, you know, like it has to be Allen Bradley. But anyway, but And there's a discussion board area, but we usually don't utilize that so much. Generally, all the questions and things are done in lab. And then the most important one, I do a daily course content. So every day you can come in and check. So like today's, all right, what will we have? So there's chapter 1's homework, and there's lab 1, which I just put them in each day. You know, we won't have the lab today, obviously, but this way, if you wanted to look at it, you can go in and look at each day and even see what's coming up ahead of you. The other thing I did do is for the chapter 1 PowerPoint, if you wish to, it's more of an abbreviated version of chapter 1. If you just wanted to go through and quickly see what kind of information would be on that, just pull it up as a PowerPoint, like a slide presentation for you. And let's see, but that's largely it for today. And then of course, we'll have what materials we will be needing. You all did get a tools list, right, for this course? Hopefully, I hope.
Mhm.
Okay. So when you begin the labs, we will need a certain basic set of tools. Like I said, I'll bring in my own personal set, so that way everybody's able to utilize those. Oh, let me stop sharing that screen. And then we're going to go back here.
Must be
Bear with me.
openings.
So that's largely the syllabus. As far as attendance goes, generally we're like the 3-strike rule, okay? Because we only meet 16 times altogether through this half of the semester, okay? So if you miss 3 of these classes, and look at, unless there's some crazy circumstances or something, and I get it, stuff happens, you know, come and see me. But if it isn't a crazy circumstance, then no. But basically you're allowed to miss up to 3 times. And after that, it's pretty much an automatic F in this class, okay? But hopefully we won't have to get to that point or anything like that. Okay. So most of the homework will be on Blackboard. And one other thing for you. Let me show you, my bad. Because also, I don't know if anybody uses this. Okay, so in the very bottom, I put in the course calendar. So it'll pull up the current calendar, okay? And you can even see that, okay, so we're on the 23rd today, that your first homework assignment is due a week from today. And as I have, this is the only one I have assigned now, but as we go through it, you'll be able to see upcoming, like when your quiz is going to be and that kind of thing. And it should all be posted when the due dates are. Same with labs. And so if you need like a quick rundown real quick. And as far as I know, any other classes that you take that are using Blackboard as well, they should also populate this up for you. So I don't know if anybody showed this to you or not. I find it to be a little handy, but so I always throw that in there on the side. So when you're going through, just pull up course calendar in the bottom and you'll be able to see like there's my color. I don't know how it might change a little bit for you, but it should have like my class listed. So on the side here, it'll tell you what colors are being used for what classes in the calendar. Excuse me. All right, so let's get back to our introductory lecture here. So, but that's how you'll generally do most of the homework assignments will be on Blackboard. I do a couple
Actually. The case has got battery.
where, what do you call it? Like I'll have articles. It's like a scenario type situation. The electrician went and did this and caused this. And then basically you're going to go look up like what was the code violation or what was the proper way to do it. Because in this day and age, I hate to say it, that we have to write. You know, the day where we're not writing is gone, because it doesn't matter what type of job you get into with this. You get a job order, a work order, you know, and it's not going to be like, here's what I did today, you know, full report, but you always have to do a summary. It's like, okay, what did you do for 8 hours? You know, your boss wants to know. And the better you get at this, I'm going to be honest with you, gentlemen, the better your raises will be. because it keeps track of, that's how they do it these days. Everything's electronic, right? So it depends on what place you're working at, but they'll generally have an electronic system that you're typing away. And whether you're like a remote type technician, you get sent out to job sites. A lot of times now you have a PDA, right? You got your own little like touchpad, and generally you'll be starting. I know several places do this now. So your job, you get to the job site, you kind of pull it up on your PDA, and you'll click go, and that's when a time starts. And at the very end of it, it asks you basically to write your summary, right? What did you do for this 4 hours of this time? And so the better you are at doing this, the better it is for you. So I do a few assignments where you do have to do a summary. I'm not looking for any Shakespeare stuff or anything like that, right? If we're doing Shakespeare, we're in the wrong area. But I do require you to write. I do require you to write a little bit. I just think it's beneficial for you, and it's just good to be able to look at something and be able to summarize it, that type of thing. So I do have like 3 of those throughout the course here. Otherwise, we might have some in-class written assignments, maybe going over like the building schematics or something like that, where we can all work together with it. That I have the quizzes, and those we'll decide on that whether they're done in class or at home, because with Blackboard, it's easy to do it either way. And of course, the one that we have to be in labs, or the hands-on labs, and that's the most important part for this class, I feel. So the type of tools, well, you should have something, all right, where the standard screwdrivers, both Phillips and standards, is pretty much a requirement. Wire strippers are definitely a must. Safety glasses aren't a bad idea. If you don't have any, we do have like lots of them in class. So lineman's pliers, and if you don't know what the difference on those are, we'll show you. Lineman's pliers don't look like your normal pliers. A utility knife, but more importantly than a utility knife is something I call an electrician knife. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen like an old Barlow pocket knife, where it doesn't have a point, because electricity things, you don't want to stab nothing. Stabbing is bad. Stabbing splices into stuff. But an electrician knife is generally like a Barlow, where it's got a blunt edge. And to be honest with you, you never want to sharpen this bad boy, like ever. You want to be able to whack your hand with it and everything and not be able to cut yourself. And I'll show you why when we get in the lab. I'm going to show you exactly why you want a dull electrician's knife. It sounds weird, I know, but you'll see why. Anyway, a hammer, there is my most unfavorite tool for an electrician. I see an electrician swinging a hammer and I automatically think, okay, something's wrong. There is no way in hell that an electrician should ever, well, no, there are times when you do have to use a hammer, but 9 times out of 10, my tool belts, I never had a hammer loop on my tool belt. I had hammers in my tool bag, but on my belt, nah, there's no way. Why would I need one? I need a screw gun. A nice screw gun's nice, but a hammer? No. That's just me. Anyway, tape measure is not bad. A little torpedo level helps with certain things, Channel locks aren't, well, Channel lock, that's a brand name, by the way. Side lock pliers, even if you like safety gloves or something like that, you don't want to cut yourself. Wires are sharp, they poke. I don't know if anybody's, but you don't have to have those things. But the screwdrivers, wire strippers, lineman pliers are definitely important. After that, we won't be doing so much, for stripping. A knife is nice to have. Like I say, I prefer a nice dull electrician's knife, but if you have to have a utility knife, then so be it. And I'll show you why you don't want to use one, but we'll get into that. So how to succeed in this class. So don't miss class, don't be late. 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes and then you're late. And you know what happens when you're late? That's a half a day missed. I'm just saying, but I'm being crazy with this, but that's just the general rules. Read your assignments. Generally, you'll find if you have to go through the homework, you'll be reading that book. It's pretty difficult. You could try Googling it, I guess, if you want. I personally think it would actually take you more time to Google the answers for these questions than going ahead and looking it up in the book. But that's me. And definitely this next one's important. Ask questions in class if you don't understand something. 'Cause I have a rule. And my rule is this: there are no stupid questions. There are stupid answers. And I hear that a lot, but there are no stupid questions. If you don't know, you don't know. And that's what we're here for. You're here to learn, right? Well, I'm here to teach you, so don't be afraid. So, but yeah, and complete all your lab assignments, definitely study for the quizzes and do well on the final. And I have a pretty good guide for you on the final, what material to go over and such. So that way you're not completely lost or nothing like that. Because by the time we get to the end, you're gonna think it's like, oh God, we have so much information. But I give you a little cheat sheet so that way you could go through and what to study for and that type of thing. But that's that. And I showed you, okay. But that's generally it for me. That's my main requirements. Don't be late. And if you are, let me know. We're all adults and we're supposed to be. So just like a job place, if you were 5 minutes late for your job, right, you're just going to show up and not say anything to your boss. I've never had that job. But so it is treated the same way. I'm just saying. But yeah, if you have any questions at all, at any point, definitely ask me, and if you don't have the tools right away, don't worry about it. Like I say, I bring in, a certain amount of tools in my bag. I only have the one tester. So if you have to share a tester, and I know those things are pricey, about like $250, but I promise you that thing you will use all the time. All the time. You will use it throughout this whole course. It doesn't matter if you're going to be an industrial electrician, you're going to be an HVAC guy or whatever. HVAC is a lot of controls these days. And if you got the right juice going to the right place, you need to know. So you need to have your meter. But we'll go through that. I promise you. And I will show you how to use that meter. I will show you how to use like electrician specific tools. Like what are the little holes on your wire stripper for? All right. Nobody ever asked that question, but there is a reason for it. And I'll show you that. Wire alignment pliers cut so weird. Why do they look like that? And I'll show you that. And we'll get through, that kind of thing. And I'll show you what the do's and don'ts are. And we'll get through basically. And like I say, this will get you all ready to be an apprentice and move on to the rest of the course or not, if you will. So, but that's generally it for me for today. It's a quickie, right? And actually, I've been talking for quite a while. But any questions or? All right. So I have to decide now if we're going to do, basically, I'm going to send out an email in a little bit here, but if we're going to do the Zoom lectures, then 1 o'clock is not going to work for me normally because 2 o'clock we're doing lab. So I will send out an email today and then we'll go over if you guys want to do in-class lectures, I'm all for it. The way the class is laid out, there shouldn't be a problem. Because we got enough social distancing between all the desks and whatnot. And my old butt's sitting up in front, so I won't be anywhere around you. But we'll take a vote on that. I know some people, if you have a valid reason why we won't meet in, why we shouldn't meet in class, then I'm all for it. And if not, then we'll go. I want to go for the whole 3 hours. Let's just meet and do it. That way I could bore you for about 45 minutes and then we'll do something fun. No. But yeah, I'll send out an email and then I want everybody to respond back to me and let me know. I'm going to post this video. I will post this on Blackboard for day 1 under this course. And again, if you have any trouble with that, my cell phone number is listed. If not, I will, and when I send out that email, I'll make sure my cell phone's listed there so everybody has it. So if you need to text me, call me. I know the younger generations these days don't like to call so much as they like to text everything. So I'm all there. or email me any which way, I try. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the day. You guys got any questions?
No,
Yeah, what I miss?
Go for it. What would you miss?
Uh,
Well,
long story short, hey, by the way, hey, Chris, hey guys, how you guys doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. Long story short, I thought that like we were actually having it in class and
I
such,
know.
but I didn't read the
I'm
second
sorry,
email.
I got crossed up today.
Yeah, that
I
was
wasn't thinking. I apologize. I did record this. Basically, the only thing we missed today is I covered what was on the syllabus. Basically, what I expect out of this class, what you can expect out of this class. Pretty much it, really. And then the first homework is assigned today as well, chapter 1. It's not due till next Tuesday. And generally the chapter 1 is largely like a safety synopsis, safety approaches. And like I was saying earlier, unfortunately, Jacob was the only one I got to hear it, I think, but electricity can kill and it will hurt the whole time you're dying. I promise you.
yikes.
But so we'll cover
That's shocking.
safety is our first approach. And in fact, we'll go over a safety approach when we go into labs and stuff like that. So Thursday, when we meet in lab, so whether we do this video conference style or not, like I said, we'll decide that. Hopefully by tomorrow we'll have it all decided. But check your emails, check your school email, because I'm gonna be bombing them for the next day and a half, I guess, as we all decide what we're going to do here. I'm pretty democratic when it comes to this kind of thing, but yeah, I'm easy either way. I've done the lecture for this class both on Zoom and in class, so either way, it really doesn't make it. Well, it gives me one more hour to sit at home, basically, right now. but either way, so we could do that. But definitely the labs Tuesdays and Thursdays for sure will be 2 o'clock till roughly 4 o'clock. I think they have the room scheduled like 3:50 or something like that. But yeah, so 2 hours. But so yeah, so for Thursday, if you have your tools, awesome, bring them. Meter, bring it. Ugly's book, bring it. In fact, I would like if your textbook, you don't have to bring to class if you don't want to. The Ugly's book, please bring that to class or the lab, because you will want it. I might have some exercises where you're even required to look up some stuff and before the lab or during the lab type of thing. But the Uglies book is very, very important. I want everybody to get used to that. Like I say, we'll have a couple of quizzes where you have to look stuff up in the Uglies book. So I like everybody to go through that. And then we have some exercises where I will teach you how to use that meter and not blow it up. It's too expensive to blow it up, and it's so easy to blow it up. And I'll show you. So, but yeah, we'll go through that. And then, like I say, I'll do an email a little bit here. And then if everybody responds back to me, and then we'll decide, if we're going to do these lectures online or if we're just going to do them in class. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I got
Quick
today.
question.
All right, gentlemen. We're all good?
Quick question. Do you mind if I ask something real quick? For the chapter 1 homework, do I put that on like a Google Docs or something like that, or what?
What's up, Ryan? Say it again.
The chapter 1 homework, do I have to read it or do I have to like write something out for Google Docs?
Oh, no, my homeworks are all on Blackboard. Here, hold on a second. I'll show you. Hold on. Let's go over it.
By the way, once again, sorry for showing up late here.
So here's my Blackboard site, right? You see that okay?
Yeah, I see it perfectly.
Huh?
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Okay. So generally, everybody's just kind of laid out the same. So what I have, if I have any announcements, the course information is like basic stuff. There's the syllabus. So if you need to find my cell number or anything like that, that's where that is. The course content area is like where I have an electronic copy of the textbook, the drawings, and even an Uglies book reference on there. But the main one here is that what I call the daily course content. And so what I'll do is break it up every day. See that? Day 1, day 2, day 3, etc. So under day 1, you should find, see that right there, chapter 1 homework. But that's not due till next Tuesday. So we have a whole week. And then the lecture I give for chapter 1 will be on Thursday. I just like to assign these to keep the pace going for the class, I guess. But the first one, it's largely on like safety. But if you have your textbook, and if not, use the textbook online there and you'll be able to get through that. But yeah, it's all on Blackboard. So you just have to click like this and bring it right up and begin. See that?
Okay.
And you get three tries. So if your first one, for whatever reason, it came out really bad and you don't like that grade, you could take it again. Okay. So you're not stuck with, whatever it came out to, but yeah, you get 3 tries on those. I do have to go through them manually because some of the stuff is like, you actually have to type the answer. And Blackboard doesn't like that a whole lot. So but I check each one. But yeah, it has lab ones on the first day, even the intro that we just went over, and then in a little bit I'll have like a YouTube link down here, which will be this whole session that I just recorded. So if you want to review the video that I just did, you can. And if you don't have to. It's but down here at the bottom, if you see that intro, that's the PowerPoint slide that I just gave for everybody. And it just has like the basic information, an introduction from me, why am I able to teach this course to you, what's my background, and then kind of what I expect out of this. And really, as long as you stick with the homeworks and stuff and, and regular attendance and do the labs, you should do well in this course. I don't try to kill everybody with it. I do want you to learn though. I definitely do.
All right.
All right.
So yeah, that's pretty much it then.
Okay. But yeah, look for my email in a little bit. And then, like I say, we'll decide if we want to do the Zoom thing and such. I'll just kind of take a vote and see where everybody's at. And if everybody's comfortable with meeting in class for the lecture, then I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be able to do that. All right.
All right.
All right. Well, then I will probably talk to you on Thursday then.
All right. See you then.
All right, buddy. You have a good one.
Bye.
I can figure